$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
$1 billion.
It's just money. It's made up. Pieces of paper with pictures on it so we don't have to kill each other just to get something to eat.
See this? This is energy too. If you get on the frequency this is on, you can't stop it coming.
Most people work hard, but they don't think hard.
If you decide to be rich today, who gonna stop you? Who?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Everything comes from the imagination.
For things to change, you've got to change.
Listen to me. Rich people think different. So what I'm gonna put in your head today is a rich people concept so you can get to understand it. The only difference between successful people and not is just how they think. Rich people think different. Quit letting people tell you you got to get qualified in another program. You don't need another program to be successful. You need to change the way you think.
Act as if. You understand what that means? Act as if you are the president of this firm.
The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Why? It's because the rich think about wealth and affluence all the time. And what do the poor think about? The poor think about lack, loss, and limitation, risk, danger, fear, failure all the time.
So now y'all look money hungry, and that's good. Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't have any. They say money can't buy happiness. Look at the smile on my face. Ear to ear, baby.
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every time.
Be selfish. Be selfish for the next 3 years. Go get yourself strong. Go put your own oxygen mask on. Put some money in the bank. Crush your company. Be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your income. Be greedy on the amount of money you want to make. I'm telling you, be greedy, be selfish.
Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot be sleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market been open 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life and your was sleep.
Success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development.
Set a goal to become a millionaire. And he said, here's why. For what it will make of you to achieve it. Set a goal that'll make you stretch that far. For what it will make of you to achieve it. The greatest value in life is not what you get. The greatest value in life is what you become.
There's this thing about people, and they talk about manifesting. It's real, man. Manifesting is real.
You cannot write down right now on a piece of paper, this is what I want. If you can't list them, this is what I want, then you can't have it. Because your mind will get for you what you want, but you have to feed it a vision of what you're looking for. It's always interesting because the function of the mind is to make coherence between your belief and your reality.
Poor thinking habits keeps most people poor. Not poor working habits. Most people work hard, but they don't think hard. And 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐧𝐤 taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. As you think, so you become.
Millions of dollars was on my mind at that time. I was dead broke. There was no time to relax, go hang out, party. No, I was broke. I needed millions. I saw, even when I had negative money in my account, which was very often, I saw millions in my future.
If somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire quickly. So you get to keep the money. Otherwise, sure enough, it'll disappear. Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world, divided it up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. Incredible.
When a problem comes up, one of the best things to say is, all is well, everything is working out for my highest good, and out of this situation, this so-called problem, only good will come, and I am safe.
And you know, this is something that's very powerful. All is well, everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this experience, only good will come, and I am safe.
You cannot have what you're not willing to become vibrationally. If you do get it, you'll lose it. You see, this is why people, they'll win the lottery, they lose everything, or they'll finally get the person they think they want to be with. They can't keep the relationship, or they'll get a modicum of success but can't hold on to it because inside they weren't vibrationally aligned. They really hadn't become it. So you can temporarily manipulate and get things, but to have it completely, you have to lift your vibration and become that.
Rock up like you mean it, you know? Act and you will become, even fake it.
What is your dream?
My dream is to be world lightweight champion in the UFC, have more money than I know what to do with, and have a great life for my kids, my grandkids, everyone in my family, everyone that's come up with me. That's my dream. My dream is to be #1, pretty much. My goal is #1 MMA. I will be where I want to be. I'm 100% confident that I will make it to the top. I have the skills, I have the dedication, and it's something I really, really want. So words can't even describe, but it will happen, and I'll let you know when it happens. Really, really, really loved it. It's like an addiction for me. It's all I do. I train twice a day. It's all I think about it.
It's in my head 24/7. There's nothing else I can think of. I don't think about nothing else. That's it. I'm just curiously fascinated with it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Everything I do in my life is related to this.
Small minds discuss other people. Gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas.
Once an idea is taken hold of your brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate. An idea that is fully formed, fully understood, that sticks. Right music.
Demand integrity from yourself. You can't demand integrity from someone else. Integrity is like loyalty. You can't demand it of someone else. You can only demand it of yourself. Be the best example of loyalty, and you'll get some loyal followers. Be the best example of integrity, and you'll have people surround you that have integrity.
What advice do you have?
Don't rely on social media. Put it down, turn it off, shut up, be quiet, learn, read, relax, get better. First part of your life you learn, second part of your life you earn, third part of your life you return.
Repeated thoughts wear a kind of psychic groove in the mind. A groove that gets deeper with every repetition. You see what that means? When you think you can't, and you tell yourself you can't, and you tell other people that you can't, you've made a groove in your mind, psychically. And every time you do that, the groove becomes deeper until ultimately you can't. That is the way it goes.
Millions of people want the same thing that you do: money, respect, success. But out of 1,000 people, here's what your competition really looks like. 54% are too afraid to try. 27% will quit as soon as it gets hard. 10% will move too slow and miss their goal. 8% will get distracted with shiny objects. That leaves just 1%. You and one other person. The greatest edge isn't being the smartest, fastest, or most talented. The greatest edge is consistency, sticking with something long enough to win.
It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks. It's miserable. It's lonely.
If you think of yourself as lucky, you literally see more opportunities. If you think of yourself as unlucky, you miss them.
If you'll say before you go to sleep, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. And if you'll say when you get up in the morning, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today. And if all day long you say, I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me, you'll find that as you go to sleep the next night, and try this today, it's a very powerful exercise. It sounds a little bit corny, but it's a very powerful exercise. If you'll try it, you'll find that when you go to sleep, you will not be able to think of all the wonderful things that happen to you. You'll just be surprised that your parking spaces will open up and friends will call and you'll get checks in the mail. Just your life will be a series of really positive, happy experiences. So always expect the best. I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today, and by the inexorability of a law of nature, it's going to happen to you. I can assure you it's happened to thousands and thousands and thousands of our graduates who will literally astonish you, the effect of this corny little exercise.
Do everything that you feel, even if you are told that it's the wrong thing. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts, because that instinct is who God made you to be.
Be selfish. Be selfish for the next 3 years. Go get yourself strong. Go put your own oxygen mask on. Put some money in the bank. Crush your company. Be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your income. Be greedy on the amount of money you want to make. I'm telling you, be greedy, be selfish. You know why? Because if you go all in, if you stop thinking, I wish I could do more, be more, go all in and make the money. Get secure and put your oxygen mask on, and what you can do in 5 years from now, what you can do in 7 years from now, what you could do in 12 years from now is unbelievable.
If I believe it's not going to work, then the function of the mind will manifest in a situation where it doesn't work. If I totally believe this is how it's going to work, then my mind will set me up in a situation where it works that way. And all of a sudden, that's when you start to realize, wait a minute, it's not chance anymore. This isn't chance. This is creativity.
My ultimate goal was to become a $100 million fighter. Once I seen guys like and I seen it myself with my own eyes. When I seen that Bentley at the boxing gym, and I seen that diamond Rolex, I said, I want that. And I knew what it took. So I know when my opponent is asleep, I'm out there at 4 or 5 in the morning, chopping trees, working, to this day. Because I can retire today. I'm well off, very comfortable. But I got the will to win. Because every fighter that's in this room has to feel that he's the best. If not, you in the wrong sport.
I know I'm blessed today. I know I got work to do, and I know that it's all gonna be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.
I feel that I had the power to create my own destiny. I try to visualize every single thing in my life, not only believe it, but really feel it with every cell in my body. And I just want to send a message out there to every young person. Be in the present moment, forget about what happened in the past. Future is something that is just going to happen, but if you want a better future, you create it. Take the means in your hands, believe it, create it.
Have you ever asked yourself what differentiates the winners from the masses? Well, I have. I've researched the subject now for over a quarter of a century, and I have found that the winners are aware of a certain place within. It's referred to as the higher self. And in this higher self, there's an image of perfection, which is forever attempting to express itself in a greater way. When the winner wants to turn their dreams into physical realities, they call on this higher self. And they set about and change the world, not just for themselves, but for everyone in it.
Why has it always come to money?
Why not? I mean, everything you got on costs money. Everything you do costs money. You can't take your wife on a date for free.
Is that how you measure your success?
No. I'm loyal and honest. And I'm a good person. And I call a spade a spade. Money don't make me, I make money. And without money, I'd be the same person. I fought so many fights for free.
You're getting emotional now.
No, not at all. No, I'm thinking. You know, I'm always thinking. How can I get better? How can our company grow? How can I continue to teach people around me how to fish? And I don't want to fish for them.
Perhaps one of the greatest secrets of mankind, greatest discoveries, is that you become what you think about most of the time. That your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And when you begin to think and talk about what you want and how to get it, you begin to move rapidly towards your goals, and your goals start to move toward you. The more you think about what you want and how to get it, the more positive and optimistic you become. You set up a force field of energy that attracts people, resources, and ideas into your life to help you to achieve your goals.
Can you manifest millions? I was in New York for a few days, and I just said to myself, money comes to me abundantly and freely, and I see it everywhere. I just said this to myself every morning when I woke up and when I went out of the hotel. I said, money comes to me abundantly and freely, and I see it everywhere. Someone was carrying a box and a penny fell, and I said, oh, look, money comes to me. I see it everywhere. There's a penny.
Yeah.
The next day I go to New York City, and I'm in the subway, and I see a penny heads up. And I thought to myself, this is filthy. This is dirty. It's not valuable. It's not enough money. I don't need to pick this up. But I was like, no, I'm doing this experiment. Money comes to me abundantly and freely. I'm a magnet for money, and I'm gonna manifest money, right? I pick it up, put it in my pocket, and I just say, thank you, money, for coming to me. The next day, I put it on my bedside table. I don't think anything of it. The next day, I wake up and I look at this penny, and I flipped over this one penny. Oh no, I looked at the penny because it was heads up, and I noticed something. I go, oh, that's really interesting. It said 1945 on this penny. That's an 80-year-old penny. And I go, huh, that's unique. I haven't seen a penny that old in a long time. And I flip it over and I notice something, and I get chills thinking about it. I notice it's a wheat penny. And I look it up and I Google 1945 wheat penny value. And one just sold, I kid you not, I get chills thinking about it. One just sold, guess for how much?
I have no idea.
$4,000.
No way.
Online. There was more value inside of that penny than what met the eye originally.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was be willing to look for it.
Yeah.
Be willing to pick it up and say, I receive, thank you.
He'll tell you, like, you just don't want to win enough. And he's right. He's right. Like, I've met people like that before. Like, they have to win at everything. They have to win. They're just winners. They're obsessed with that goal of winning.
If you go to the gym and you work out and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. And if you go to the gym the next day and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. So clearly there's no results, can't be measured, it must not be effective. So we quit, right? Or if you fundamentally believe that this is the right course of action and you stick with it, if you believe there's something there, you commit yourself to an act of service. You commit yourself to the regime, the exercise. You can screw it up. You can eat chocolate cake one day, you can skip a day or two. You know, it allows for that. But if you stick with it consistently, I'm not exactly sure what day, but I know you'll start getting into shape.
My hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I gotta think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later, this person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25, 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away. I'm never gonna be my hero. I'm not gonna attain that. I know I'm not, and that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing.
It's about getting better. Nothing else matters except me showing up at the gym every single day and putting in the work to get better.
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
But I honestly wouldn't change one thing about the way that I grew up. In no way, shape, or form am I bitter, or I sit around and complain about, oh, this, that, or the other thing. If I didn't grow up the way that I did, I wouldn't be who I am today. I 100% firmly believe that.
If nothing changes, nothing changes. And yet, somehow we expect things to change. We expect things to change. You think you're gonna get in better shape. You think you're gonna get more money. You think your relationship is gonna improve. You think you're gonna get promoted. You think you're gonna get a raise. You think the world is going to get better without you doing anything, but it isn't. Nothing is going to change unless you change what you're doing.
The reason why you're fearful is because you're worried about what people think.
It's true.
And if you're worried about what people think, then maybe true creative is not what you are. You just got the costume of creative on. Because creativity, when you're creating and it's like a rinse, whether the rinse, a sponge absorbs, and eventually you got to rinse it out so it can absorb more. Do you think a sponge is like, oh man, I don't want people to judge how I'm rinsing myself out, or I'm gonna make a mess? You know what I'm saying? A sponge ain't thinking about that. People like, it's like shitting. Now, people could say, yeah, well, I am, your shit is like shit. But I'm gonna ask you, which farmer does not need manure to grow and cultivate? You need it. You cannot farm without it. You can't grow anything without it. It's like cycles of life. And creativity is that. The moment you start worried about people's opinion, then you definitely, by default, are not a creative.